And a very good afternoon to each and every one of you. Thank you for waiting for us. So it's 3:05. We're going to start today's session today. Congratulations to everyone. We are in part 4. For everyone that's been following us for the past 4 weeks, part by part, we help one another, add on value to one another, and learn so much together. Today, I think that this episode is going to be a little bit different. You notice by the title itself. So we have transited from the start of it. Now it's building your $1 million legacy dollar by dollar. Yes, today is part 4. Next week will be the finale. I know that a lot of you can't wait, and maybe we are considering to put this on YouTube as well so that you can do a recap for this itself. For people that missed part 1, part 2, part 3, not to worry. You can get it from our PropNex salesperson. It's embedded inside our PropNex virtual office online in our website itself, so you can have some time to go through it. Today's session, no change. Not going to be too long, just a short power pack session by our CEO, Mr. Ismail. I'm helping him to set up right now. Let me see. Okay, I have him on.
Hi. Good afternoon,
let me
everyone.
stop share and bring you to center stage. Hi, Ismail. Good afternoon to you. How are you feeling today?
Very, very good. You think you can see how clean shaven I am? And I had a haircut yesterday because tomorrow is Hari Raya. And today is the last day of fasting month, Ramadan as well. So in fact, a friend of mine just texted me and said, hey, you never sent me the invite last 3 weeks. And therefore, I assume because it's Eve of Hari Raya, probably you're not talking this week. I say, no, I'm sorry. I was just so busy. And then I forwarded to him, you crazy, tomorrow is Hari Raya and today you still want to talk to people about all these things about leaderships and legacy planning. I say, yeah, but the fact is Hari Raya is tomorrow and not today, and therefore life goes on. Yeah, so having said that, I'm so happy. I know probably 1,000 of you are listening right now, with some of you with your loved ones, and I'm absolutely going to be certain, believe me, this is a definite, if you have a teenager in your family, if you have someone loved one, if you have a boyfriend, okay, or if you have a spouse, the best is pull them in to sit in and listen. Or quickly send this link and ask them to say, hey, you may not miss out much, but I think I want you to hear. Because today we're not talking about purely about leadership. You remember how I built this up, this 5-week series. The first week, we focused on myth of leadership. And the fact that we wanted to prove a point to everyone here is that leadership can be learned, not inborn. And it has been absolutely been proven. That was all the focus of the first week. And then the second week, we built on to talk about the leadership traits. What makes a good leader? Good leaders carries what kind of traits? And then we went on to have many other examples. And finally, last week, we went a bit more to say, now that you know what it takes to be a leader, you know the leadership traits, and then we ended off last week about being leaders a source of light. And a huge part of it come to a good heart. A good part of the intensity of the light where people want to listen to and follow to you, again, come deep inner. And that's where we ended with huge amount of gratitude to our loved ones, to our people, to our staff, to whoever is around. Okay, so having said that, this is how we build up. So today I'm going to focus very much on delayed gratification. I'm going to give the definition later. Don't need to worry. It is going to be short and sharp, probably 45 minutes at most. And I will take a couple of questions and then we will just wrap this up. So stay tuned, listen, and then if you want to just get a few other people to hook in quickly, perfectly all right in the next 5 minutes and 10 minutes. As Eddie exactly said, time and again, just before the start, in fact, before start, normally I'm so busy, hey, Mr. Ismail, I'm trying to go in. Somebody sent me the email, but the link don't seem to be going. I said, don't worry, I just send them the password. Just about 2 or 3 of them. And then some of them still ask me, Mr. Ismail, how about I missed the one? Well, I miss a lot. Can I follow? Is it something is linked? I said, don't worry. All those of you who have not listened to part 1, part 2, part 3, perfectly okay, because it is compartmentalized that every part you will learn something. But for those of you who really missed some of those, be it even one session, I definitely strongly encourage to go back and either speak to any of our PropNex salespeople to get the link, or eventually maybe by next week, I'm going to give you a bonus. For all those of you who are listening in, next week will be my final session. I'm going to give you a bonus. Maybe I'll put it all together in a very easy way of a reference where you can either go to a channel or whatever it is, you can just hear and listen, and once in a while you can just inspire other people. The whole thing about this thing here is all about showing gratitude. Why do I decided to talk on this topic? In fact, I had a little bit of a session, I must say, together with Calvin Fong sometime back, and then he said, hey, maybe we should come up with something that we can have a longer period of time, consistency. And I said, never mind, let me lead the leadership part. And Calvin decided to lead as far as the industry perspective on the real estate, agents, salespeople, external co-broke agents, and so on. Our objective was very simple, unconditional, and we want to give it. And it's only by giving we receive so much more. Let me now quickly go on to my first screen share. This is what I'm trying to do for today's topic. Okay, let me make it to slideshow so that it is very much bigger. Good. I suppose now all of you can see. Okay, today's topic, how to build your $1 million legacy. And I just want to impress upon today's session, I'm going to stress upon for the last time about the quadrants, because it has got to build up again. You see, Rome was not built in one day. Nobody have the retirement been accumulated $1 million over 1 year, unless you strike a lottery or toto, yeah, you become a millionaire. And usually those people who strike like that, very seldom it remains, because fundamentally you have to go back to your values. Okay, so today probably will be the one last time. I'm still going to talk a little bit. I'm going to bring in from the quadrant concept, because the quadrant concept will make it crystal clear if any one of us want to achieve that $1 million savings or so. Okay, so that being the case, so let's move on to the first slide. Yes, this is something that I wanted to highlight it to you all. Yes, okay, so look at it here. Let me just give me one moment and let me shift. Good. Yeah. So if you look at it, what is so important about this quadrant? And you know, exactly about 10 years ago, I developed this concept, wisdom of life priorities, and I trademark it. And I've even written a book, which is a timeless gift. So most of you would have already downloaded it free. For those of you who are just listening for the first time, don't worry. Towards the end, I will show you a slide how you can download the entire book. But one of the key things, the focus that I'm trying to say, please, I mean, I'm not trying to bore you. Just I want you to focus, because you know why? Today, I'm all going to talk about the blue quadrant, second from 21 to 40, and a little bit lead on to wealth creation. So we know in life, we may live up to 80 years, okay? First 20 years is values and education. Second is all about establishing a career and investing. Therefore, today I'm going to share my journey of second quadrant only. So I'm not going to talk about my first quadrant, which I shared it during some of the earlier session. Neither am I going to my third or the fourth quadrant, second quadrant. But then you say, hey, Mr. Ismail, you asked me to tune in, but I'm past second quadrant. No worries. You can still make things happen. Okay, so the second quadrant is all about investing. Then on the third quadrant, why am I so focusing? You see, put it this way, third quadrant. I'm in the third quadrant right now, 56 going on 57. But put it this way, when I'm 56, my dad is 95 years old. God bless, good, healthy, energetic, independent. So is my mom. Yep. But put it this way, my mom and dad are healthy, but they need huge amount of love, huge amount of support, huge amount of care in terms of medical. And those days, we've got insurance plan that can cover. So I'm so thankful, because my siblings together with myself, we are more than happy to give. You see, what is all about third quadrant? Creation of sharing the joy with your loved one. Who's your loved one? Your parents, and as well as your children. And same thing in the third quadrant when I'm 56. Let me just look at my children. I've got 3 children. My eldest is 22nd next month, and she has already entered the second quadrant, the most exciting quadrant. And my younger twins are 16, and 4 years time they will be. So they're doing the same thing. My elder girl is studying 1 more year in London. So you see, when you are in the third quadrant, you will have to take care of your parents, you will have to take care of your children and their education and their dreams, and to support whichever way they could, but within your means. So having said that, that's why second quadrant is crucial. So let's move on. Let me not spend so much time. So that was the overall 4 quadrants. Briefly, first quadrant, all I was mentioning about education and right values. Please, 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 just focus, all the people, the parents, the adults, whoever listening, don't drive your children to say study, 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 study. I want you to score A distinction. I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be an engineer. I want you to be whoever. Probably half of them the other half will be a stressed soul. Okay, please, all the children, don't straight away say, Uncle Ismail, tell not to study. No, I never say that. I also set standards for my children. Okay, if they don't set certain targets, certain grades, then I said, my goodness, you will not get all the privileges. So it's important, study is important, but I'm just trying to say, let's focus on right values. A child, a person during the first 20 years is a formative period of time in anyone's life. If he or she is being given the right values, regardless of a reasonable grades in the education, he or she will be a #1 successful person. And I've seen many people. I mean, someone whom I've got huge amount of respect. I mean, some of you may know in the real estate industry. Any one of you have heard by the name of someone, Dr. Dennis Wee? Wow, suddenly somebody thinking, why am I talking about Dr. Dennis Wee? Because I know him as a friend, and he's also my partner, and who has a very successful real estate company, Dennis Wee. It is an icon in Singapore as a local company, but they decided to move on to focus on other things. But why am I trying to say? He got his doctorate not because he studied in a university or so, because of his logical brain in building a business and empire. And same thing, if I remember correctly, he didn't even have his O levels, but he had the right values. The values of discipline, the values of never give up, the values of looking after people. So that's all I'm trying to say. First quadrant is about right values and as well as education. Let's move on. And this is very important. I always keep saying that, when we mess up, when we really mess up our first quadrant, either in terms of values, in terms of education, in terms of not being strict enough, gratitude, and all other things, our life is gone. You know why? The rest of the quadrant, we will mess it up. So I'm not going to talk about the timeless geek story. You can read it. Then now let's focus second quadrant. I said this is the most. And why am I trying to share? I'm going to share my personal journey of the second quadrant, how it has helped me. Okay, in second quadrant, invest your time and money in your career, investment, family as life's top priorities. It's very important. Okay, I don't want to spend so much time, but we have talked a fair amount about it. But one of the things I always want to say here is the next one. You know what is the biggest challenge, my friends, and those people who are listening, and all those teenagers who are listening? Discipline. Because in the second quadrant is one quadrant that we have got huge amount of pressure, peer pressure. People are driving a beautiful car. People are carrying the most Prada bags or whatever the latest on the thing. People are always keep changing and dressing up so well. And therefore, my goodness, hey, then where do you put your money? Do you invest the money that can give you better returns in the subsequent quadrants of your life, or do you want to show it off all? You see, this is the biggest challenge, real challenge. And I've noticed that I've seen a lot of people really don't have that discipline in the second quadrant. The minute you mess up the second quadrant, it's okay. You will look good, you will feel good. But let me tell you, your third quadrant and fourth quadrant, you will all be a constant struggle. Put it this way. Now it's a pandemic. Yep. World over, crisis, economic downturn, retrenchment. And can you imagine all those people who have not invested right and who have not had the enough saving, how much of stress in their mind, because they've got huge amount of obligation, but they were not disciplined. Fine, just a very brief glimpse of that. Let me move on. Sorry. Okay, this is second quadrant, discipline needed. Then this is the third quadrant. Third quadrant is all about enjoying the benefits of your success and wealth creation of the first two quadrants. First quadrant, you didn't have so much fun. Second quadrant, you have lesser fun. Third quadrant, all the fun. And that's what I'm having every single day. I wake up every day with huge amount of fun. But I also have stress because of responsibilities, obligation, and all other things. Okay, but this is very important, third quadrant. And finally, I want to come to the fourth quadrant. Is all about relax, reap from all your hard work in the previous quadrant. Live the rest of your life to the fullest with freedom and peace, and give back to the Almighty, to the Creator of the world. Go and do what you think you can make a difference in the life of others. Period. Full stop. So okay. So today's session is all about not the quadrant concept, because some of you have heard it. You say, "Hey, Mr. Ismail, I'm getting so bored. You are keeping repeating about these things." No, please, because today's topic has got this thing very, very important. Because if you don't go back to the fundamentals, right, we can talk about every other things about earning $1 million. It doesn't happen. So it is a timely reminder. The main thing that I'm trying to talk about today here is this delayed gratification. And I think this is a concept that we have talked about it in many of the consumer empowerment seminars and things like that and so on. What does it mean in a layman's perspective? Is the ability to resist. The word I use is resist a smaller but more immediate reward in order to receive a larger and more enduring reward later. That's as simple as that. Okay, so I remember I mentioned about the discipline required. I remember about how much you want to spend, how much of the pressure that we have in the second quarters because we want to be part of the society and the norm. Yes, so we can have all that fun, but a lot more fun. And if you don't start thinking of the delayed gratification, your subsequent quadrant and subsequent part of your life, you will not have all the joy that you needed. Hear this, remember this. I will come back to this particular slide one more time. Yes, so in my book, if any one of you had focused this thing, there's no right or wrong. Probably maybe as part of freedom of speech, and in maybe in other part of America, maybe they will shoot me down to say, who the hell am I to say you should only have 33? Because freedom, 100% fun. But I think logically, some of our Asian values and some of even Western freedom, all I respect and I accept. But I think, you see, I'm linking this to delayed gratification. So what am I trying to say? We can have more fun, and more fun, but at the early start of the life, have some fun. I'm not saying that all study, all focus on work. No. You must have fun, because if you don't have fun, you've got no purpose. So have fun. So I said that let's have 33% of fun in the first two quadrants, increase the fun to 66%. Yeah, if you ask me, am I getting 100% fun? Maybe not. But having said that, I still got a huge amount of responsibility. I have to wake up. I ensure the company, my people, all are taken care of. Am I looking towards my fourth quadrant? Wow, but of course, because I've decided in my brain, because I wrote this and I've trademarked this, and I want to have 100% fun. Yep. But again, being responsible. Okay, so this is the quadrant fund. Now I'm going to show it to you how we could achieve this. Okay, let's focus on these things. Next two slides. This is where I should emphasize on these things. Okay, the basket theory to money management. What am I trying to say here is this: regardless, you be in Hari Raya, money you get, Chinese New Year money, ang pao you get, or you get your bonus for all the stuff either in the end of the year or come maybe your performance bonus. It really doesn't matter. We all get some money, okay, or we even save some money. But what am I trying to say is, under this concept of the basket theory of money management, 1/3 of your money is placed in your dream basket. And what is dream basket? It is your dream, how you want to spend it. It is okay perfectly. Either you want to go and spend it foolishly or happily, as long as it bring you joy. Okay, you cannot spend there if you regret it. So it must bring you joy, it give you a better positive energy, and therefore you can go out there and work harder. But then you look at it. My suggestion here is 2/3 of your money is placed in your security basket. And I'm talking about this especially of the second quadrant. This concept, I'm talking about the second quadrant. Remember I said second quadrant because first 20 years we are studying and whatever it is. But even in the first 20 years, you have a lot of allowance, savings and so on. This is hugely applicable. From day one, you put this into practice, you're going to be a very successful person in your life. It is not about how much you earn money. You see, I've known of people who earn $1 million and then they become bankrupt. Why? Because they earn $1 million, they put $1 million in the dream basket. How does it? So money is never enough. So it is not about how much you earn, whether you earn 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 a month or 50,000, 100,000 a month. It really makes no sense. Because what is your brain wired? What do you focus in life? How do you manage your money? That becomes so critical. And that's what I say is 1/3 of your money is placed here. Okay, move on. I'm just now going to focus on the security basket. Because you see, okay, now you very broadly understand, I don't have time. I think I can talk 1 hour on money management, but that's not my overall topic, okay? So that being the case, the dream basket, let me go on to the security basket. Here you see, the security basket is further divided into 3 components: no risk, low risk, and high risk. Because you have some of your savings, but then you said, well, I've got this amount of accumulated $10,000, $20,000. What should I do? Oh, somebody said that if I invest in these things, I get 30% return. My goodness, believe me, all of you are listening, 1,000 of you are listening. There is no product in the world that can give you consistently guaranteed your principal and give you 20% return. I tell you, there is no. The minute you see the bank only give you less than 2% fixed deposit. In fact, today is less than 1% or 1%, depending on the amount. Bonds only give you 3%. Then you go and buy some other instruments or investment or shares. There is a risk, but you can get a better return. So what am I trying to say here is certain amount of your money you have to put as a no risk. Either it could be fixed deposit, it could be savings, it could be something that you feel that you're comfortable, your principal is not eroded. Then there are some others you can put on a lower risk, and some you could, so that even if something somewhere, either due to economic crisis or market drop or what, you don't get burned, okay? We cannot afford to start zero all over again, because we are supposed to accumulate the basket to create a heap of revenue and income so that we want to retire in the 3rd and 4th quarter as planned. So you're very clear about the mind. So I've already shared with you just simply 2 slides to give you a better idea. So with that, I'm going to go on to my personal journey. You know, some of you say that, hey, Mr. Ismail, when you share your personal journey, I can relate and so on. But I want to warn you. When I share about my personal journey, there's 2 objectives. It's just to inspire you and to maybe to just be thought-provoking, and probably also again to take action. That's all. But whatever I've done may not be repeatable because things has changed. Okay, the surrounding has changed, the economy has changed, the policies has changed, even if you're investing in property. But that being the case, I also want to say, if I had achieved that, why can't you? Every one of us can achieve. But you see, those days, different economy. Now it's a gig economy, and people make more money through online and many other things. So opportunities are different, but everybody can succeed. Okay, so just very briefly in this one slide, if I just take the next couple of minutes here, is this. For those of you who have heard my story in some of the earlier part, you know, I left home at the age of 20 exactly. Not by choice, not by will, but don't have a choice. Okay, but I think I don't want to go into those stories because some of you have already heard. In fact, some of them send me a personal text. Mr. Ismail, when you tell me about your story, it was so inspiring, but you never complete the story. What happened after you left home? I said, yeah, I really appreciate that, but I'm only sharing 45 minutes with a specific agenda, not telling Indian mama Bollywood movie story. Yeah, then there's no end to it. But things all went nice, good. Okay, so when I left home, in my savings, I probably had only $10,000. I mean, imagine yourself as a young 20-year-old person walking out. I think in America and elsewhere, 18 years old, the parents kick the children out. I say, be responsible for yourself. Okay, but maybe things forced me to be in that situation. And with just a $10,000 savings, I was in the armed forces as in a career, an army officer for 13 years up to age 32. Okay, so at the age 19 to age 32, at least I got some. But you know, even those days in 1983, as a young 2nd lieutenant, you know what's my salary? $1,200. That's it, period. When I became a full lieutenant, my salary was only $1,400. That's not huge. Today, I think a cleaner in my office get $1,200. That's the price, a cleaner. But then again, there's no basis to compare. So all I'm trying to say is that's how it happened. But I'm just focusing on the 2nd quadrant. I got married, yes, at the early age, at the early part of the quadrant. I left the armed forces at the age 32 after a good 13 years, from age 19 to age 32. That gives me a stable income. But you must say, army is a civil servant, so we can say, I don't know whatever terms that use it, in the sense that for sure you get your salary every month. But the only thing here is this, I wasn't able to increase. But not to forget, even while I was in the army, my friends, later I will show you some of the slides, I started investing because I was in the 2nd quadrant. And then when I left the army, then I started my entrepreneurial journey. So this is where you can see my entrepreneurial journey was in 1995, 1st July when I stepped out. That's how I started and had our first child, my eldest daughter. Yep, the source of light for a family between me and my wife, somebody who came and brought in so much of happiness at the age of 35. And established PropNex at the age of 37. You know why am I trying to say all this is before 40, 20 to 40. Exactly at the 20 I left, exactly in the 17 years PropNex. But when I established PropNex in age 37, wasn't a smooth sailing. In fact, by age 38, PropNex was supposed to be destroyed. All these things I will share next week about business and how you overcome challenges. Okay, so these are the huge. So if you don't have a discipline, I think it's tough. So what happened here is, let me share some of my real estate journey, and I'll tell you why I choose to move. So under the real estate, this was our first property in 1986. 1986, we bought our first public housing HDB 3-room flat at Jalan Batu. In fact, we had our wedding, yep, as lavish as it was. 1,000 people came, but you know, our wedding was just at the void deck downstairs. Yep, we have a huge tentage, and we had a military wedding with about more than 20 military officers marching in and so on. You can see on the extreme left, young me with all energy and all fitness, and my wife. Many people said she looked like a doll. Yes, she still is because she's very pretty. Okay, so this is the property that we bought it in 1986. We stayed there for a while, and then you look at it. 2 years later, we did something. We sold our HDB property, and we bought our first private property, Normanton Park, and we bought it for $90,000. Most of you know Normanton Park went en bloc about 2 years ago, and every owner who was holding on to unit on the point block received about 1.8 million or 1.78 million dollar cash. Imagine if I bought it at 90,000 and I get it 1.8 million. My goodness, it is 20 times. 20 times. Okay, but the not so good news here is this: I was not holding on to the property because I sold it in some time ago. Okay, but this was our home. You can see we were so proud of our house, and as simple as it is. Okay, so next what we did, we sold our Normanton 2 years down the road. We bought a property at 90,000. We stayed there for 2 years. We had a lot of positive memories because it's lifestyle. Got swimming pool, got squash court, got tennis court, got basketball court. What else do you want in a condominium? There was such a huge land, yeah. But having said that, we always had a dream to upgrade ourselves. Yep. So what we did was we bought this particular property, and it was known as Guan Sun Terrace. Where's Guan Sun Terrace? Near Bedok side. Okay, Bedok Fire Station opposite Harvey Avenue and so on is in the Guan Sun Terrace. And because we sold the Normanton Park for $135,000, I bought it for $90,000. We stayed there for 2 good years, and we made a little bit of a profit. We sold it with a small profit, and we take the money, and I saved hugely because before we bought this Normanton Park, I was posted to Brunei as 1 year as a full-time serviceman, as a permanent staff. So if you're in overseas, they give you additional allowance, OCLA, overseas allowance kind of thing. So save, because you see, remember I said the second quadrant is all about saving money. So what we did here is this: we were not lavish in our life, but we saved that money. We sold our property. We had some profit. We went to go and buy this property. And let me tell you something that happened. You have to be strong in your mind. When we bought this property, a lot of our friends, because I was still in the armed forces, I already left the armed forces in 1995. So I was still a young lieutenant, haven't even got promoted to a captain, together with my wife, also a lieutenant. And we wanted to buy this property because we really loved it. Almost no bank wanted to give us loan. I think we went up to more than 4 or 5 banks. Everybody give us a lecture. Why don't you buy? Because they say it's a bit too steep, because our pay was not so high. Our combined pay was only $3,000 at that time. But we were very crystal clear. We think that we want to invest in this particular property. You can see the picture on the downstairs, myself, my young days, you know, I nonsense. You will see in subsequent pictures also. every property when we buy from thing, I will always go. It's like a passion. I and my wife will go once in a while. We will take pictures. We will just imagine and how are we going to re-renovate the place and so on. Okay, to cut the story short, this was our journey. And why I say that it took us a huge amount of courage because we were very crystal clear in our mind. A lot of our friends, army friends at that time, who were majors, who were lieutenant colonel, said, Ismail, you should not buy. Because those days, the resale property at Serangoon Garden was about 480,000, 450, about 500. You said you are paying 100,000 more. And this area is not even central. This is at the eastern part of Singapore. You see, for me, it was a very simple idea. We had a HDB. We upgraded to a private property. We wanted a landed home. I wanted a small garden. And believe me, myself and my wife together planted roses and jasmine and whatever we managed. We had huge amount of joy. So that was our so clear focus. But then the question here is this. Let me tell you on the hindsight. Just a couple of years down the road, many of our friends who advised us that we should not buy, they were not able to come into the market at all. Down the road, in the next 5 years, the property prices went from 600 to 800 to 900,000. And they were not even able to accumulate enough savings, or the income didn't go up and they were out of the market. Okay, so for me, it's all about long term. Okay, so let me move on. Then what we did, we sold this property. We stayed there for a good 1 year, I must say, at Guan Soon. We enjoyed it, but we realized, my goodness, we become a slave to the house because only 2 of us, and it is 3-story. And the suite, the biggest room, was on the 3rd floor. We up, down, up, down, up, down. We got no children, we got no maid, and we take care. And I was so crazy and passionate, especially when it's a brand new house, and I was still serving the army. Even before I leave home at 6:30, I can still take and mop the marble flooring. My goodness, yeah, we were all very house proud. Okay, but having said that, something dawned on us to say that, hey, maybe it's time for us to invest in more than one property. That's why the concept of other people's money and all other things I'm sharing is because a journey that I've gone through. So we decided to sell that property that we bought for $610,000 to $735,000. We made a little tidy profit. And that's where we decided to buy this property. Why we like this property? Even though you look at the photo, it looked like a junk place. Yes, it was a junk place. It was a place of a doctor's own it. Somewhere in the Coven area, single story. We love the land size. The doctor was a veterinarian. He had tortoise, he had chicken, he had, I think, goat, he got what, and everything, all animals, because he's a doctor. Yeah, looking after animals. But we say we like it. We like the land. You see, we were so clear. Yes, I had an inter-terrace, but I want a bigger land. And that's where we bought this. And can you imagine, we bought in those days for 525,000. Some of you will be kicking me and say, my goodness, Ismail, you had a fair advantage because you were born earlier. That's why it was so cheap. My goodness, then what do I say? My father time, it was only probably 25,000. He had a greater advantage than me, but he didn't buy. So what's the message? It is not about who got advantage or no advantage. It is about doing the right decision, the right action, delayed gratification. That is the simple message I have, my friends. So it is still applicable to you right now. Whether what do you want to move in and buy within your means, okay? So this is what we did. Then we hold on to this property for some time, but this was our second property. So for the first time in our life in 1993. What is so significant about 1993? I'm born in 1963. At the age of 30, midway through the second quadrant is 20 to 40, midway through was the first time myself and my wife, we together were able to own 2 properties. A semi-detached landed property, which we never stayed there at all, and we kept that particular property a good, I think, 12 to 15 years. I can't really remember. Yep, before we sold it much later, but we had that property, but we rented it out. And the rental was able to cover, because of the land size huge, a textile owner who wanted to keep his storage and do his business and so on. He liked it because his vehicle can come in and so on. Fine, I had a good tenant who has been paying decent rent even for those days, close to $3,000 for a 525,000 semi-detached house, and I can pay all the monthly installment. I still got spare. And we bought this. Can you see the view in 1994 when this picture was taken? Yeah, I'm showing my cursor. First, we bought it on the highest floor, unblocked view. And you know, Mandarin Garden is such a beautiful place. It's like a resort, you know, the swimming pool and the wind. And can you imagine this photo? This is really again another nonsense me. You know why I say that? My wife and myself, you see the fridge and so on. We were so bloody prudent, but because maybe it is our army thinking, 1993, I was still in the armed forces. To me, nothing is impossible. We shift house to stay here, so we stayed here for a period of time. You know what we did? You know what we did? We rented a truck. I thought it was cheap. It only cost me less than $100. And I said, we will do 2 trips or 3 trips, we will shift. We carry, I tell you, we literally can do everything. Belief system. Why do we need to throw? But these days, maybe we are a little bit more spendthrift. Also because, again, going back to the basket theory, we can afford a little bit more. So I'm trying to say is, when you want to build your nest, it takes a lot more hard work, a lot more discipline. This is how we branch off from 1 property to 2 property. Next, yes, and 2 years down the road, we bought our 3rd property. And this is a freehold condominium. If you look at it at the background of these 2 tall towers, you can see the twin towers of KL as well. And it is just less than probably 50 meters to the LRT stations downstairs, and a huge, very nice setting with the river view and so on. And again, in 1995, I was still in the armed forces. So believe me. So if you say, Mr. Ismail, hey, how? I'm still a civil servant, but by this time we were both captains. My wife was an army captain and I was an army captain. We had a stable income. We were still very committed to doing our work, but at the same time, we wanted our money to work harder. That's why we invested in property. We chose not to stay in our inter-terrace house or in a semi-detached because there were only 2 of us. So we had all the joy in our Mandarin Garden studio apartment lifestyle. But we want our money to work harder. But we invested in this particular property. I'm just still holding on to this property until today, I must say. Yep. So, but it has been rented out and almost fully paid up. Yeah. Okay, let me just move on. From 1994, then in 1995, what happened was actually we sold our Mandarin Garden because we find it a bit too small, and then we make some little profit, and then we bought Costa Ru. Okay, and Costa Ru is a place until today I'm holding on to it, and probably will sell in a matter of time because the lease has got only slightly above 90 years. I always used to tell people, try to sell it when the lease is not too long. In fact, I could have even sold much earlier, but I was too busy. And it was giving me a very huge, good rental yield, so I just left it as it is. Okay, so then you can see again the nonsense me. See in my shots, and you see actually it's nonsense. You know why I say nonsense? It was under construction, and I can still just sneak in and go all to the unit level. This is actually my unit on the 7th floor facing the river. I want to go there and see, does it obstruct? Will it be affected by the Benjamin First Bridge? All I want to go and take a look. But I think don't do this. This is not a good thing to do. It's just, for me, everything is possible those days. Okay, so this is how we bought the Costa Ru. Then in year 2005, we bought our current bungalow. But this bungalow was, I'm talking about 15 years ago. Right now, I've re-renovated it. It doesn't look exactly the same. But having said that, the facade is still the same. And we bought this property for $2.8 million. And you know, today, a 6,000 square foot landed property with a huge size of a squarish garden and so on, easily will cost you anything between $8 to $8.8 million. In fact, our neighbor sold us $8.8 million some time back. Yep. So that being the case, again, and all I'm trying to say here is this: it's only that you can make use of wealth to create. Okay. So after 2005, I'm not going to talk about all my other property journey. Then you'll become nonsense because you say, hey, Mr. Ismail, you said that you want to talk about building your legacy, but you're only talking about your property journey. There was a reason, but I stopped here because by 2005, I was already 42. So I passed my quadrant, 2nd quadrant. So the rest I'm not going to share with you. But after this, until now, I've invested in 9 other properties. I do overseas, local, some bungalows, some whatever it is and so on. Okay, but that's not something that I just wanted to share this. But broadly, it's about investing. So, okay, what am I now coming at the next slide? Okay, so then I'm just going to share, why did I choose my journey predominantly in real estate. Why? Why not stocks? Why not shares? And maybe there's a reason. And maybe I'll just share with you this slide. One of the key reason here is this, the first and the key reason is, actually I'm a very risk adverse person. I think going to stock market and monitoring it every day, it goes up, it comes down. I tell you, the stress level, I can't take it, and neither do I enjoy it. And I was also very busy. You know, the second quadrant, when I was in the military and so on, I think we are combat officers, so we go to all overseas trading. Where do you have got time to monitor and invest and pull out of the market and enter the market? No. And honest truth, I wasn't a very clever person. Simple-minded. All I want here is this belief system, and I know property is the right way to go, and that's why we decided our life is all about investing in Monopoly. For those of you who play Monopoly, you will understand. It's about accumulating wealth through asset ownership. Second thing, why do we love about investing in property? Property investments allowed me and my wife to leverage using bank's money. You see, even when we buy the second property or the third property or subsequent properties, I don't need to fully come out 100% cash. Yep. But sometimes these days it's a choice. You may even want to come out 100% if you want to avoid the ABSD, if you're buying in trust or something. But generally speaking, one of the advantage of investing in a second property or your first property here is this, as long as you can get a loan, and this is where I have shared with you the concept OPM, other people's money concept. So we like to leverage using the bank's money. And then we get a rental to pay for this. So this is something that we very much like. And we are not speculators. Myself and my wife, we are never speculators. We are always buying it a long term. So we are not so concerned. The economy go up, SARS come, or Asian financial crisis, or Lehman crisis. We are not so concerned. We buy investment within our means, hold it, we got enough reserve, we were prudent, and that's how we accumulated the wealth over time. Okay. Number 4, I also like the idea of passive income from rent and capital appreciation. Many of the properties now we own, we have fully paid up the loan, zero loan, because that we were renting it out and we are still renting. And can you imagine now every month I can collect the rental and I don't need to pay any bank loan, and the full amount is passive income. I mean, for example, those of you who are listening, especially the younger millennials, imagine I know most of you like to travel, don't want to work so hard, but you want to live life first. Good. I think you are not in the wrong path, but make sure you accumulate your investment and your wealth right. Then you get a passive income. So we loved it and we liked it, and that's why we are very much predominantly in property. Number 5, just to give you an example of this. Remember I showed you about this 1995, we bought Costa Ru, and by last year, the property was fully paid up. And paid by whom? The tenant. And this property exactly right now, every month, I'm getting close to $4,000 rent, and it is pure cash flow. And there's a positive thing. I mean, just to show it to you, I mean, I'm not just creating a story. 4th July 2019, discharge of mortgage. Congratulations on the full repayment of your housing loan, addressed to my wife and myself. And that's the beauty about it. You see, when I bought this particular property, our down payment was only $150,000. Today, we sell it at $1.5 million, or even let's say $1.3 million, it doesn't matter, at a discounted price, which is the current market price. I only came out $150,000. And today we get the complete cash of 1.5 million. How many times have my initial equity over the last 24 years, it has gone up? 10 times, 1,000%. This is the concept of leveraging using bank's money, tenant pay the rental, and over time is fully paid up, and you retire in the 3rd quarter. Delayed gratification. Remember delayed gratification? Huge amount of accumulation. So this is something that we liked about it, and that's why we are predominantly on real estate. Next thing. Very, very quickly, and I'm going to take very fast because I'm quite mindful of the time, because today, even though I said 45 minutes, but I've told a little bit more stories. Second quadrant, because second quadrant is not about just buying properties. Second quadrant, 1996. Yep. Is where I left the army at the age of 32, crossroad, huge amount of stress to make a decision, but we decided to call it a day. My wife left the army in 1995. I left the armed forces as a pensionable officer foregoing my gratuity. If I choose to stay in the army, at the age of 50, I would have get $1 million cash, 1 million at the age of 55. So you could have said, hey, Mr. Ismail, why are you so worried? You're talking about delayed gratification. You continue to work in the army at age 55, you get $1 million. But I felt that I wanted to do something I really truly believe I can make a difference. And we like the entrepreneur path. And that's why both of us left the armed forces and we started our company. You can see at the background, Noris Consultants. Noris Consultants stands for N-O-O-R is my wife name, Noraimi, and my name is I.S. Ismail, Noris Consultants. And that's where during our younger days. And believe me, when we started the business, it was a constant struggle. There were times where I even sleep overnight in the office, trying to get the job done because I was a salesperson closing deals. I'm also the owner of the company. I also need to manage a team. I also need to do training for my salespeople. Wow, wasn't easy. But it's about stretching yourself because we were young. Second quadrant, everything is possible. Okay, so this is how 1996. Then in 1999, we founded First Class Consultants. I must say it is a partnership between two companies, Noris and Pruling. Okay, I'm not going to go into those details, but I just want to highlight to you, this is how it took place. My partner right now, Alan, and Joseph, who has retired, they own Pruling, and two of us came like-minded people, Noris and Pruling. We started First Class. And then come year 2000. This is our 20th anniversary. But in year 2000, how old was I? I was 37 years old. So PropNex was formed when I was at 37 years old. Next week, you will know all my stress. That's why I lost all my hair. Okay? Starting on a new path, new challenge. It has its own challenges, but it's okay. Life is a journey. So this is something that we started together. Okay? Next. So I'm almost coming to the end, but having said all, I want to just stress on, please hold on there because I've got a very bonus point towards the end, really a bonus. I'm thinking another 10 more minutes. The key point so far, I know at one stage I was talking so fast. You know why I was talking so fast? I was so worried because I promised you an hour and I thought I got so much I wanted to share. But having said that, I'm trying to slow down as much as possible. And 3 key points you'll take away. You cannot forget delayed gratification, wisdom of life priorities, and basket theory. These are the 3 here. So what is delayed gratification? It is the ability to resist smaller but immediate reward in order to receive a larger and more enduring reward later. So this is one of the key messages. Please, please, please always remember, yep, that's where discipline comes in. So delayed gratification. Next thing, we talk about the wisdom of life priorities. The second quadrant is all about investing, establishing a career, starting a family, commitment, and then sharing the joy towards the third quadrant and the fourth quadrant. So this is the wisdom of the life priority. And finally, not forgetting that we talked about the basket theory to money management. Okay, 1/3, have fun. Whatever you do, it's okay. Yep, you just received your bonus. Go and buy something that you like. You want to buy that Cartier bag or you want to buy a Prada bag, but ask yourself 2 times or 3 times. Is that what you dream and you deserve? It's okay, but it's only 1/3. You cannot go and put 2/3 over there or the full amount, then you're not doing the right thing. Okay, so these are the 3 points. So now I'm in the third quadrant. I just want to share with you some of the joy. You know, today I can afford and maybe I'm just enjoying myself. And this is all part of the reward of the delayed gratification. Yep, this is the house that I'm staying, and then my 3 children are there. Yep, they help me, and we have a happy family, a beautiful home, a luxurious car, and so on. But all these things only possible. I will 100% say this is a reward for delayed gratification. If you have not done it right in the second quadrant, we would not be here where we are right now. I'm very certain about that. Look at this. This is nonsense. A guy who talks so much, and look at his shoes, my shoes. Okay. In the second quadrant, believe me, my friends, I don't remember owning a shoe that was more than $50. So I'm not asking you to say that, hey, don't. No. I already said you deserve 1/3 of the basket. You know what is not so right here is this. If you earn, let's say, $10,000 a month, but then you want a lifestyle at that time, fine. But then make sure you also accumulate for the future. So right now, as I said, third quadrant is all about joy. I want to take care of my parents. I want to take care of my children. I also want to feel good for myself. So yes, I'm happy and I enjoy. I must say, but sometimes the most branded shoes are not most comfortable, but it only looks good. I say, my goodness, pay so much money and not comfortable. Your heel and your sole all pain. Maybe it's not get used to it. Okay, fine. Just trying to say, have fun. Okay, but along the way. Finally, that I've come to the end. I want to just share with this. Please hold on. Please don't leave. I know probably close to 2,000 of you, including your loved one who are listening. I want you to just see these 3 minutes video clip, okay? And then I will come back and I will just come and conclude it. What is this 3 minutes video clip about? It is about Dick Hoyer's son, Rick, okay? And Judy and Dick Hoyer's a husband and wife. They give birth to a boy. His name was Rick. But then he was diagnosed as spastic, quadriplegic, cerebral palsy, basically a little bit more slow in terms of his coordination, movement, and so on. But the father, together with the wife, decided that I want to give the very best to my son. They fought against the system, they appealed to the schools, and eventually the son went to have a degree, even though with all his challenges. And the father wanted to sacrifice, I won't say sacrifice, because of his unconditional love. He wanted to make sure that his son feel appreciated, his son can feel that he's contributing to society and the world. And that's why the father and son come together as a team, and they participated in 255 triathlons, 72 marathons, 32 Boston marathons. You know how many 10 and all these things they does here is this. They also try to create for charity. They created a foundation, and some of all the money comes in. They take care of other people, and especially children that who are born with all the challenges and so on. They dedicate a huge amount of their foundation towards this. You see, as individual, the two ways that we can behave. One, we say we give up in our life, that God has been very unfair, everything is unfair, or we can choose to make a difference. So, next slide. So this is a video that I'm going to play. If you look at it, this video, but eventually in 2014, at the age of 73, was the last time that, the father retired, last race Boston Marathon, as it was physically, can you imagine at 73 running a full marathon, 42 kilometers, and at that time, Rick was 52. But I must say, they're still continuing, but another of his good friend taken over this foundation, and Rick still continue to run the marathon. Okay, so with that, I think, Eddie, can everybody please don't leave? I want you to give your 100% focus, make the volume right, and then let's see this video. Yeah.
Okay, I'm playing the video now. Give me
Good.
1 minute.
Good. Yeah. So while Eddie is going to play, let me just talk to you some of these things. Keep your focus on the video. Yeah, this is something really, really interesting.
I know my Redeemer lives. I know my Redeemer lives. All of creation testifies this life within me cries. I know my Redeemer. He lives to take away my shame. He lives forever. I won't play. That the payment for my sin was the precious life He gave. But now He's alive and there's an empty grave. And I know my Redeemer lives. I know my Redeemer lives. Let all creation testify. Let His life within me cry. I know my Redeemer lives. Let all creation testify. Let His life within me cry. I know my Redeemer. I know my Redeemer. He lives. I know my Redeemer lives. I know my Redeemer lives. He lives.
Okay, yep. Thank you so much, Eddie, for screening that video. You can swap back. All I just want to say here is this. Why do I choose to show this video? Because we talk about discipline. We talk about a little bit of a sacrifice. I'm sorry, some of you did mention to say that I was speaking a bit too fast, because it's just that I wanted to give more and more and more all I can within this 1 hour. But having said that, I am blessed. My achievement is not about me, one person. It is the Almighty who has chosen me and given me His blessings. And I only achieve through the guidance of the Almighty and the people around me. It is never about this one man. And I'm absolutely certain about that. So when I look at this video about the Hyatt, it is about the challenges that we have. We will never, and we should never succumb to it. We are a source of light. Let's stand up. Let's make a difference in our lives and our loved ones and the people around us. Yep. And I'm really, really, really appreciative for all the guidance. And I want to also wish each and every one of you. Let me just answer one question. Somebody asked me a question, in fact, in the Q&A. Mr. Ismail, I'm past the quadrant 2 now. I'm in quadrant 3. How will this make a difference right now? Am I too late for it? Believe me, never too late. Honest truth, for those of you who heard it much earlier, in my first quadrant, I only had O levels. That's why now I'm trying to tell people, focus on your education. I only got my degree in the second quadrant, so I have to pedal harder. For those of us who have not invested right in the second quadrant, it's never too late to look at our own thing and start in quadrant 3. But what is most important here is this: if we sit down a moment and just take a clean piece of paper and start writing down the amount of money that we are wasting on things that is not necessary, things that we can save, that lavish lifestyle, going back to the basket theory concept of 1/3 and 2/3, life change immediately and for anyone and every one of us. So not to worry if you have missed any of the quadrant, but all said, please invest within your means. Okay, let me switch back to my slides. Eddie, am I able to go back to my slides?
Yes, you're able to screen share.
Okay, I'll go back to my screen share again, and let me see. Okay. Okay, so this is something that, I share about hugely among the timeless gift. So you can go to our Facebook and also get this QR code, and you'll be able to download our timeless gift ebook. And I just wanted to spread this and read this and pass on to people about the four quadrant. The powerful thing that it can make a difference to people who understand the concept well. Next thing here is this, yes, our Instagram is also for those of you who wants to follow us in our Instagram. Once in a while, the company does post update and so on. Okay, so this is my next session. What is this session is all about? My part 5. Okay, building a legacy together as a team. So if you realize, last week will be the last session of my 5-part series. I started off again, as I said, the first week, myth of leadership, and that leaders can be trained, and then second one is trades, third is a source of light. Today is all about being delayed gratification and doing it right, building dollar by dollar. And the last one, I'm going to say, it is not about me, it's not one person, as a team. How do we do that, and how we can become a team player as well, and to end off my 5-part series. So this is going to happen next week. One more thing is this, Eddie, can you share the next Friday that I'm going to share, if you have the PowerPoint? One of the good news here is this, for those of you who are listening for the first time and have missed some of my earlier session or any of our consumer empowerment seminar, I want to let you know, next Friday evening, I'm going to talk about real estate investment, silver linings, and navigating the property market. In a crisis, do you have opportunities? So I'm not going to sell a very specific product, but I'm just going to highlight the concept of investing right in the real estate. What are some of the things that you need to look out for? And this will take place on 29th May. For those of you, we haven't got all the details, but you have to speak to any of our PropNex sales people. They will invite you and give you the link, because this is not a public event, but this is on an invitation basis, because usually we get huge number of people turning up. And for all the sales people, you can also invite as many of your customers. Happening next Friday, a real estate consumer seminar touching on silver linings and navigating the property market in this current pandemic situation. With that, Eddie, I'm going to pass on. If you've got any other questions, one or two, maybe we can take it up. If not, I'm done for the day.
Let me look through the question itself. I think there's one interesting one, because he mentioned, dear Mr. Ismail, thank you for the sharing. I have a child who is 6 years old. I would like to impart the values of what you shared and possibly give an option to give back to the community. At what age do you think is suitable to start imparting this kind of values to children?
I think you're so lucky. How I wish my twins are now 6 years old. I think I got a lot more things. I can do things right. But I think you're right. Values imparting starts actually from the first day when the baby is born. But I think children by the age of 6 develop a very strong personality. I mean, they know who they are going to be. This is where I think you have to give a lot more unconditional love, guide them through. If today you tell them that he or she is going to be a champion, he or she will believe that he will become a champion. If he or she is always being said that you are not capable, he's not going to be capable. So I think it is a very good age for all parents, whoever you have a child. There is no science, I've not researched on that, but I think as long as a child is responsive and understand, first and foremost, imparting values comes with one most important thing is being a role model. We have to be role model, because to say it's easy to say, but if we ourselves don't do the right thing, how do we impart? So let us be ourselves, be a role model. First, in terms of showing gratification to our parents, loving our parents, respecting them, so that the children will learn how to, because they see, children learn more from seeing than hearing. After some time, especially when they're teenagers, 12, 13, 14, 15, wow, the more we talk, we think that we are an old recorder saying the same thing, because there's a generation gap. So we also need to learn. It's not easy as a parents, myself and my wife also learn through the ropes. It's not easy. But I think let's have a happy soul. Let's make the environment, and let us be loving. And through love, I think a lot more things can be achieved. So it's simple, I think, is a very perfect time for you to start building values in your children from now. especially when you say your child is 6 years old.
Thank you, Ismail, for sharing this. I think in all these 4 parts that you shared today, I think you also impacted me personally a lot. You showed through the time that your journey itself. I think I just want to share what I feel is that no matter what, especially in this pandemic, things will always happen. Everything that happened not only happened to us, happened to everyone else. It's the choice and the angle of how we see things and how we react that makes the difference in the end of the journey. I thank you for the sharing today. There's a lot of people wishing you Selamat Hari Raya. I mean, I just want to echo out. I've been receiving so much response from them. Okay.
Good then. I think it's okay. Then thank you so much. Really, thank you so much for all the love that always surround me. And so many people have been giving me food. I think I'm not dropping any weight, be it fasting month or even I'm at home. I've been spoiled for choices, but having said that, it's a blessing that I'm thankful. Wishing each and every one of you, especially all the Muslim friends, a good Selamat Hari Raya tomorrow. And for everyone else, a super long weekend because Monday is a public holiday. Let us stay together, stay united. Love you all so much. All the very best. Bye.
Thank you, Ismail, for your time today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us at this webinar. For all the property-related questions, I think next Friday is something that you should not miss out. I'm going to flash the slide again so you can get a date and time. And then we hope to see you there, whereby we'll take all your property-related questions over there. But main thing for now, first action that you can do is that speak to your PropNex salesperson, your PropNex consultant, go through your portfolio, understand what is your opportunity or what are the potential that you can do. Okay, thank you everyone. Wishing you a good afternoon and then see you very soon.